Imagine this. You're in an airport, and if you do not run for your life, you could possibly miss your flight. Do you go and talk to the people that are standing beside you saying, oh, you're gonna miss your flight? Do you go talk to them about how you're gonna miss your flight, or do you run for the gate? Well, that is exactly what you need to think about when it comes to you getting what you want in your life. Because in life, what does happen if we turn around and we end up stopping too many times and talking to people about what it is that we need to do, we do not get to do it. We actually focus way more on all of the obstacles that are in our way instead of actually going and moving. This is also why when there are the most obstacles, or when people start bringing up more obstacles that supposedly are in your way, like, wow, you can really do that, or you really want to do that, are you sure you want to do that, the economy is so bad, or are you sure you want to risk this, risk that, that's when you know you have to run for your plane. Because if you do not run for your plane, you will not catch it, and you will be stuck feeling like, why did I go back to talk to these people about me missing my plane when I should have just run for the plane? Because every time you miss your plane, you're gonna have to pay for a new ticket. What does that mean when it comes to achieving your dreams and your goals? It means you're gonna have to wait for another opportunity to present itself, when in reality, you're the one who has to catch the opportunity. You're the one who has to put in the work. You're the one who has to book the flight. You might get rebooked if the flight gets canceled on you, but you're not going to get rebooked if you miss the plane. You have to pay because it's your responsibility to make it to the plane on time. It's also your responsibility to be able to catch your plane of the life that you want to make. This is also why it's very, very important to understand that when people say now is not the time to go, now you got to sit indoors, you got to not do anything, you just got to stay still, not make your moves. Oh, are you sure you want to do that right now? The stock market is down. It's a bad time economically. Oh, everyone's an influencer nowadays. You can't become an influencer. Everyone's this, everyone's that. Are you sure you want to do that? I don't think you can achieve that. I wouldn't do that if that was me. The reason people actually start bringing more obstacles into your life, they start putting more focus on obstacles in your life, is because the universe wants to see whether you actually have the strength to push through those obstacles. That's when, things are going just good and dandy. We might not see that many obstacles and we might be like, oh, it's nice. But then we also don't want to push through more. We might actually not run to the gate. It's actually the last minute. When we start seeing, oh, there's 10 minutes to boarding, I'm actually 15 minutes away from the gate. That's when we run. But if we have an hour and change, we're like, doesn't matter. If someone says, are you sure you're going to catch your plane? You're like, yeah, sure, I'll catch my plane. Don't worry. But then when there's 10 minutes left and you're 15 minutes away from the gate, you're like, I got to run now. This is exactly why when you start being like, okay, you know what? I want to do this. I want to do that. I'm going to go for what I want to go for. The universe is going to start putting more obstacles. It's going to start putting more people. It's going to start putting more circumstances in the way. It's going to start putting more people in your life that are going to tell you, oh, you sure you want to do this? Are you sure you can do that? I could never do that. Because they want to see if you can push through the doubt, or whether you're going to let yourself be pulled down by the doubt. It's a very, very, very important thing to be aware of, because if you do push through the doubt that everyone wants to bring upon you, then you will be boarding your plane towards your excellence, towards everything that you want to get. The reason that I'm out here sitting in the rain, it's rainy, it's very rainy today, is because sometimes we have to do what we have to do, even if the sky isn't clear, even if rain is falling and the lightning isn't good enough, even if the hair isn't freshly blow dried, even if I do stutter and I say some things that are not necessarily perfect. We have to show up and we have to push through, because you know what? In the long haul, what truly matters is that we push through. Sometimes we have to do what we got to do in the rain even. Think about it like this. If you are hired at a normal job, if you do not show up just because it's a rainy day, you're going to get fired. Might not get fired, you might just get a warning, but you're going to get fired in the end, because no one is going to buy oh, it's raining, I don't want to go outside today. You got to show up. The same way that you want to show up for your job, because if you don't show up to your job, you're going to get fired. The same thing is what matters when it comes to you showing up for the things that you want in your life. And one thing that I think is very important to note as well is that in the times where it's the grayest, this is when you have to be mostly very, very hyper focused on your goals and your dreams. And if you do not know what you want yet, of course, it's going to be really, really hard for you to be propelled towards what you truly want in your life, because the universe has no way of pushing you towards something you're not even clear you want to be pushed towards. Think of it like this. You show up to a drive-through and you say, I don't want a chocolate milkshake. I don't want a strawberry milkshake. Through the receiver, the person on the other side taking your order, they might actually think, oh, they do want a chocolate milkshake. They do want a vanilla milkshake. They don't only hear vanilla milkshake and chocolate milkshake. That's what they're going to give you. That's exactly how the universe works. You might think, well, I'm highlighting all of the things that I don't want. Well, in reality, you're actually highlighting all of the things that the universe is going to bring more attention to, because you're saying, I want the vanilla milkshake. I want the chocolate milkshake, because the universe doesn't filter the don't. It's kind of like a receiver at a fast food restaurant. The receiver might be really, really terrible. They might not be able to hear you clearly. So you have to be very clear about what you're going to order. If you're not going to order chicken nuggets, you're not going to say chicken nuggets. So you have to be this exact same way when it comes to you focusing on your goals and your dreams and whatever it is you want in your life. The more clear you become, the more you know that you want the 9-piece chicken nugget with barbecue sauce, then the universe is going to give that to you. You just have to be very, very clear about your order. And a lot of the time, we want to focus on all of the things that we don't want. We want to focus on all of the things that you don't want to go wrong. I don't want a bad job. I don't want a narcissistic boyfriend. I don't want girlfriends that hate on me. I don't want all of this and all of that. That's what you're going to get. Because the universe is going to show you that if you don't get up and you focus your mind onto the things that you do want, it's going to keep giving that to you. The universe is actually just proving you right. Whatever you focus on is what you're going to get more of. Where attention flows, energy flows too. So you might think, well, the universe is always proving to me that things are not going my way. It's only not going my way, your way, because that's where your energy is going. Your energy is going towards things that are not going to be what you truly want. And that's the only thing it's going to be able to give you. If your mom said, what do you want for Christmas? What do you want for your birthday? And you're like, well, I don't want a Nintendo Switch. I don't want this and this and that. Your mom's not going to know what to get you. And when she gets you something you don't want, then why are you mad at her? Why are you mad at her for not getting you something that you didn't specify? This is exactly how you have to think about the universe, because the universe actually wants to provide you everything that you truly want in your life. But you have to get very clear on what it is that you want. You have to be very clear about, do you want this specific handbag? Maybe in the beginning you just say, I want a lot of handbags. I want to be taken care of. But then the more you become specific, the more the universe is going to send you visions of what it is that you truly want. And then you can become more and more specific. And then this is what you have to hold on to during the days where it's gray, the days when it's raining and you have to wear your raincoat and you have to push through, where you have to push through the doubt. Think about the doubt like a rainy day and you have to go to work still. You have to go to work. You're not going to make any money. You're not going to get the life that you truly want. You're not going to be able to uphold your dreams and your goals if you do not go through it, even if it's raining, even if you make mistakes, even if you fall. The rainy days are here for a reason. They're here to teach you and to make sure that you keep pushing through. That's why it's so beautiful to have them, because that's when you have to zone in more than ever before on your goals and your dreams and your visions. And if you do not know what your goals and your dreams and your visions are, you're only going to see the rain for rain. You're only going to think that it's bad. You're only going to think that it's here to bring you down. You're only going to think that it's here to wash you away. The itsy bitsy spider, the rain came and it still went up. It still went up. And you know what? The sun started shining and it still went up. The itsy spider clocked in. That's exactly what you have to do. If you're in the airport and you're about to miss your plane, do you stop? to talk to people that are on the way to your gate to tell them, I'm not going to get my flight if I don't run. No, you're just gonna run. You're just gonna run. This is exactly why we actually tend to not get the things that we truly want in life. We have a tendency to, as soon as some adversity, as soon as something bad shows up in our life, we have a tendency to hold on to that as if it's a telltale sign that everything is gonna go bonkers, it's gonna go bananas, it's gonna go down, not good, bad. Instead of seeing it as a sign that we're actually about to become that much stronger so that a situation like that will never actually face us again. Because when you've been in the airport and you've almost missed a plane once, then the next time you show up to the airport, you're going to be extra early. You're going to know how to get through. You have your things in order. You're not going to be as stressed out, because now you've been prepared for the exact situation. That is exactly how life works. Because if you went back and talked to everyone on the way to your gate, on the way to your plane, then you wouldn't have gotten to the plane. And who's to blame? You. Because you know what happened? You stood and you wanted to talk to everyone and their mom about how if you don't run, you're going to miss your plane. What you're going to have to do is you're going to have to run. And then when you go and you catch your plane because you want to catch your plane, no one's going to want to start talking to everyone about how they're not going to catch their plane. They're going to run to catch the plane. So when you do catch the plane, you're like, next time, that adrenaline you've been feeling, that rush, you're going to be like, next time, I'm going to be better prepared. Next time, I know that I'm going to show up earlier. But you know what? Because you had urgency, because you had to run to catch your plane, that meant that you were way less distracted about what anyone or anything thought about you. This is why adversity and the bad things that happen in our life are actually really, really good, because it makes us feel like this one problem that actually might not be that big is something that we have to focus on. Maybe you have an exam coming up. When you have an exam coming up, if you're someone who's a perfectionist, mind you, I used to be a big perfectionist. This is something I've struggled with for years and years and years. The only thing I could think about until I was done and I turned in that paper was the paper. And I could only focus on that. Everything else in my life seemed like it didn't matter. And as much as having that obsession with papers was not good, it definitely made me stressed. I also know now how to tackle that stress better, because I understand that stress, as it did propel me towards being very hyper-focused on my goal, but at the same time, it also made me extremely burned out. And then the next time around, I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to let that happen to me. But what we usually do in life is we don't think about it in terms of the plane situation. We don't think about it like, next time I go to the airport, I'm going to show up on time to the airport. We think about it with the essay. We think, next time I'm going to stress myself out a little bit more, because that way I'm going to get it done. If I don't stress myself out, I'm not going to get it done. You know what? If you keep getting stressed out every single time there is a hard situation, a hard lesson in your life, life is going to give you more hard lessons until you learn that there's nothing to be stressed out about. This is something that I had to learn recently, because I am the type of person who would always think that it's positive or it's good that I'm stressed out, which it's not. My hair starts falling out. I can tell on my body that it's not good that I'm stressed out. It's not good that I'm trying to control and micromanage. But one thing that urgency does do is that when I do board the plane and I've been running to the gate, I realize next time I'm going to know how to handle this situation better. I'm going to have a much sharper vision. And I'm not going to sit around and just talk to some lady until I'm at my goalpost. I'm not going to talk to some lady about how I was about to miss the plane until I get to the gate. And you know what happens when you get to the gate? And this is true in life too. When you get to the gate and you talk to that sweet lady beside you, there's no reason for you to talk about not missing your plane, because you're not gonna miss your plane. You're here on time. So why are you even talking about it? There's no reason for you to bring attention towards it, because you sat down and you said, you know what? I'm gonna make sure I make it, And when I make it, there's no reason for me to talk about how I almost didn't make it, because I freaking made it. This is also why we cannot be so caught up in other people's opinions about us, because if we get caught up in other people's opinions about us, that's when we get slowed down. And then when we don't make the plane, then when we get to the gate too late, that's when we're going to be like, oh, this person slowed me down. No, that person didn't slow you down. You stopped to talk to someone about something that you didn't need to talk to them about. That's exactly what happens when we try to level up in our lives. We try to climb the mountain towards getting the things that we want. Getting the house, the car, the life, everything, the looks. And then along that way, we hear, we kind of want to get the validation from other people so that we feel like we can push through easier. So we go down the mountain to find someone to talk to about these issues. Oh, it's so hard to climb this mountain. I really need a pat on the back. It's really hard to climb this mountain. Then we try climbing the mountain again. We find it's a little harder than last time. Then we climb down the mountain and we're like, you know what? It's a little harder this time to climb the mountain. I need a little reassurance. We keep climbing down and climbing down. Eventually, we're not going to want to ascend the mountain again, because we kept going back down to get validation from people that things are really, really hard. Oh, it's really, really hard. Instead of going up the mountain, instead of climbing the mountain, we want to go down to get the validation that, ooh, you're climbing the mountain so good. That's when you're facing adversity and everyone's saying, wow, you can really do that. If you start talking about, yeah, it's so hard, you're climbing down the mountain. You're climbing down the mountain. Oh, it's so hard. I don't know if I can do it. I'm really doubtful. Climbing down the mountain, because the people that ask those questions, the people that say, wow, it looks really hard. It's really, wow, I could never do that. They want you to climb down the mountain, because that way you're not a threat. You're not a threat to their existence. You're only a threat when they do see that you have the ability to climb the mountain. That's why they want you to come down. That's why they don't want you to ascend the mountain. So when you do climb up the mountain and you start hearing people saying, oh, I could never do that. Are you sure you want to do that? That's when you have to keep climbing until you can't hear them no more. Because when you can't hear them no more, that's when you know you actually push through. Like you're running to the gate. When you start hearing now boarding and you're at the boarding area, that's when you know you made it. That's when you can relax. But you cannot just be like, oh, you know what? I'm going to talk to people and maybe that's going to motivate me to get to where I want to go. No, it's not going to motivate you. It's going to want to make you climb down even more, because now you have some cushion, and the cushion's going to make you very comfortable. It's going to make you feel like, I want to stay here. It's nice and warm. That's why sometimes you have to push yourself to go out into the rain. That's why sometimes you have to push yourself to go out into the uncomfortability of saying, you know what, I'm going to have to set up a situation where I have to run for the gate. I'm going to willingly have to set up a situation where I'm running for the gate. Because if I do not run for the gate, I'm not going to grow. The same thing that if you go to the gym, when you go to the gym, you want your muscles to hurt, because your muscles are not going to grow unless they hurt. It's the same thing with you entering into the rain, the bad things of the universe. If you willingly, consciously enter into the bad things of the universe, then those things actually become positive, because now you are the creator. You are not the effect. You are the cause. You are the creator. You are not the one who is being manipulated or created. And the reason why you now can become the creator of your own life is because you became so specific about what you want. Because the people that are the most easily manipulated in life are the people that do not know what they want. If you don't know what you want, you're going to be very easily manipulated, and it's going to be easier for you to step down that mountain and forego all the progress that you've been making. So when you willingly enter yourself into the rain and the hardships and what feels uncomfortable, because now you don't have anyone to give you cushion, now you don't have anyone shouting at you, now you have to ascend the mountain without any help, that's when you're going to grow. That's when you're going to grow. That's when you're going to get to the gate and you're going to be so proud of yourself, because you ran and you ran and you ran and you did not go back to the people that were constantly shouting at you. You're not going to make it. You're not going to make it. You will make it. But you had to put yourself in that situation. You had to make yourself run for the gate. You had to put yourself in an urgent situation. Sometimes your dreams, your goals, the life that you want, that's an urgent thing. You come clear about it. Treat it like it's a run for something that you're just about not to catch. Run for it. Go for it. Catch it. Do it.